Hey there, good people. It's Waifu Selector once again, and today I want to talk about Street Fighter. Well, what are we talking here? Street Fighter 2, 4, 5, Alpha, Third Strike, what is it? Well, I actually want to talk about Street Fighter in general and its potential influence on future fighting games. And so I specifically want to focus on the series' long-standing mechanics slash control scheme, and maybe mechanics isn't even the right term because I'm not going to be discussing alpha counters, V triggers, focus attacks, or anything like that. I'm going to discuss the actual feel of gameplay throughout Street Fighter's longevity. And I sort of want this to serve as a warning of sorts for any new upcoming fighting games that may be coming or being developed. Okay, all right now, I want to say this clearly, but don't kill me for it. The Street Fighter control scheme is nothing to aspire to. Okay, don't worry, I'll expound on what I said. Now look, I understand Street Fighter 2 is the dad of all the fighting game stuff, and a small fortunate bug gave us the almighty combo system prevalent in all fighting games, but Street Fighter's execution timing is kinda nuts. The timing is so precise and exact when it comes to doing some of the drawn out sick ass combo shit that everyone wants to do, to the point that it can make the game feel impenetrable to more casual players. But it still isn't too much of a detriment to Street Fighter specifically because of how built around short 3-hit combos the game is, right? Now, over the years, Street Fighter has definitely lightened up on its somewhat brutal timing, with Street Fighter 5 making it easier than ever to execute combos by simply adding more leniency when it comes to the very specific moments that an additional input or follow-up combo input can be applied. Even so, it's still quite a tight opening. But I'm not really suggesting the Street Fighter themselves need to change this. I'm really not. Street Fighter is entirely too legendary and has too much nostalgic muscle memory ingrained in its fans to do that. But let's look at something like King of Fighters, a similar feeling fighting game for sure, with a lot less popularity. And I do mean a lot. Like, popularity wise, this is like comparing BTS to the boy band that you started yesterday with your friend Douglas. Like, it's apples and jackfruit. People go, "Oh, I love apples," and what the fuck is a jackfruit? Like, and Street Fighter isn't jackfruit, I'll tell you that much. But in all seriousness, a game with such little popularity, even with the niche passionate circle they've cultivated, isn't really helping itself with those overly tight and demanding controls derived from Street Fighter but tightened up to a vice grip like squeeze. And yes, I know, I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to pretend that everything is A1, but let's be real. I want better for any newcomer IP that may step into the fighting genre ring. And I would say new upcoming fighting games should avoid this brutal precision-based comboing system at all costs. If you use it as a new game, or especially a new IP, you are begging to fall off the face of the earth after the first year at worst, or become a wildly, insanely niche little game or series at best. It's not 1991. Street Fighter 2 isn't the hottest thing in the universe, and times have changed. In the grand scope of things, and I would hope everyone already knows this, King of Fighters is not popular, and it's definitely one of Street Fighter's more popular derivatives. Only one game has had massive success playing like Street Fighter. Can you guess what it is? Insert Dora voice. Can you guess what it is? It's Street Fighter, guys. Like, that's it. If you release a new fighting game with a Street Fighter, or God forbid, a KOF-esque comboing system in it right now in 2022, the only people that will play it are the hardcore fighting game fans. And they might play it for a while, but they'll just bounce off and go back to their tried and true franchise after like 3 to 6 months, in all likelihood. And you'll be left with the middling, niche little fan base that gets you nowhere, and 10 sequel games that all fail to break 100k sales individually. I'm sorry. You can open up your combo timing. It won't make the game too easy. It won't discourage high-level play. Look at Tekken, look at Mortal Kombat, both very successful with comboing that doesn't require me to access the Speed Force and actually feels reactive to the buttons I press. But now, onward to the second point of this two-pronged hot take, and that is the general inputting. Street Fighter, God bless his heart, I love the fucking franchise to death, I really do, has horrible input layouts. Now, what do I mean? Well, just to start, let's look at Shoryuken, okay? Regular old Shoto Ryu Shoryuken. First of all, when you look at what the input is to do this move in the command list, you will get a picture of like a joystick making a Z shape, followed by a punch input to activate the special move, Shoryuken. Cool. From what I've come to understand, this Z shape basically amounts to pressing forward, down, forward. No need to actually zig diagonally downward like a Z. Just down will suffice. So the Shoryuken input is effectively forward, down, forward, punch. But obviously done more quickly than I'm saying it. So what's the problem with any of that, you might ask? Well, the input for Hadoken, not Shoryuken, is down, forward, punch. Do you see how in a game where I'm constantly moving forward and backward in an elegant strategic response to my opponent's retreats and advances, I could quite easily do the wrong move when one is forward, down, forward, punch, and the other is down, forward, punch? The difference, if you didn't catch it, is that at the beginning of Shoryuken, you press forward, and you do not for Hadoken. But I think it's pretty reasonable to think at some point I may try to quickly go from advancing, that is to say pressing forward, into Hadoken. In this case, it would be very likely that I accidentally perform Shoryuken in its stead. Honestly, performing the wrong action and specifically accidentally activating supers happens a lot in Street Fighter due to its input layout. Now, I've already told you the inputs for Hadoken and Shoryuken, but the input for Ryu's super, often the Shinku Hadoken, is down, forward, punch. Okay, so to recap, forward, down, forward, punch, Shoryuken. Down, forward, punch, Hadoken. Down, forward, punch, Shinku, Hadoken. Yo, this layout is a recipe for disaster, and there are quite a few Street Fighter characters with this kind of problem. Oh, and if you're not a big Street Fighter player, you might be wondering why I keep saying punch, like down, forward, down, forward, punch, whatever. You might be saying just punch? Oh, is there only one button that punches? Well, no, there's 3. Light, medium, and heavy. 3 different kinds of punches. Cool. Which is fine, but they all activate the same moves is where the problem is. Depending on which button you pressed, you will get a typically slightly different version of that move. Like if you press light punch at the end of Shoryuken, you will do a slightly faster, slightly weaker version than if you pressed heavy punch. I personally just think the input should be tied to specific buttons instead of a variety of buttons, for more precision. Like if I'm on PlayStation and Hadoken was down forward square and Shoryuken was forward down forward triangle, it wouldn't matter that the movement inputs are so similar, because I'd have to press an entirely different button to activate the thing, Now again, I really don't care what Street Fighter does or doesn't do about this going forward, because they're grandfathered in there and I'm at peace with it. But if new games in IP are gonna look at things like that and say, hey, let's do that, I'm gonna need you to stop. I'm gonna stop you right there. I know you might be thinking people know this from Street Fighter, so this is good. But it's not, and no one's gonna tolerate it from you, especially not a casual audience. We only tolerate it from Street Fighter because they're fucking Street Fighter. If you come in with a brand new game and you've got these clunky ass inputs, and I open up the menu and I'm bombarded with a bunch of LK, MK, HK, KimK, LP, EP, vinyl CD, whatever the fucks, dude, just tell me which button to press. Fucking A, B, square, triangle, or whatever keys PC players are used to. I'm sorry, I don't know. And please don't try to tell me it's so much work doing that, because the consoles don't have the same buttons. If it says X on PlayStation, we've got to change that to A on Xbox. Well, well, you're right. Oh no, let's just scrap the whole project, I guess. Dude, if you're in that predicament, you're already making multiple versions of the game. You can make some quick, easy changes to each version's respective menu. Calm down. I guess the moral of the story here is be modern, right? Like, if you are a modern fighting game, just be modern, for God's sake. Like, please, like, act your age. Act your fucking age, dude. Like, but act the year, seriously. Like, really act the fucking year. Present yourself like it's the current decade. How's that? That's pretty much all I wanted to say, guys. Sometimes I just feel like talking fighting game stuff because I really like them and I want them to do better, gameplay wise and commercially. So yeah, it's Waifu Selector. But you know what? But before I end this, just real quick, charge attacks and charge characters are stupid. Don't tell me to hold backwards for a couple seconds and then press forward and punch or kick to activate a special move. Forcing me to retreat or duck to activate a special is ridiculous, and no one should do it. Also, block buttons are better than walking backwards to block. Okay, I'm done. It's Waifu Selector. I really do hope you gain peace and love. But even if you can't, one thing you'd better do is go out and get you some maidens. Alright, I'm off.